What does it take for a company to be successful in the Iberian region? I'm not completely sure. I'm going to tell you something that is specific to the Iberian region. I guess I'll start by saying that a company to be successful needs to focus on building value and really bringing value to whatever problem it is that they're trying to solve. I think that's key. If you just build your company because you want to make money quick, or you want to have a quick shot, that I don't think that's very likely to work. When it comes to the Iberian region specifically, I guess if the Iberian region is your market, which may not be your case, it's important to really understand the dynamics of the market. And I think that is different. I've worked most of my life in the US and more Anglo-Saxon cultures, and working in the Iberian region has its challenges. So it's important and I don't say this in a negative way. There are many positive ways of looking at it, but there's, people have a special way of working that it's important to understand when it comes to what to expect from your providers and clients if they are in that market. The next thing we absolutely want to do is to accelerate our growth. We've had good success in the Spanish market, which is our home market, the market where we started. We've recently opened an office in London, but even before we did that, we already had an important percentage of our revenue coming from other markets outside of Spain. But now, of course, we need to tap more into those local markets by having a local sales presence, and that's what we're looking for more investment for. Absolutely, events like this are fantastic, and we absolutely need them in the ecosystem. I think one of the main challenges, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on this, when you're setting up a company and growing it, especially, is finding the capital, right, to grow. And as we're talking about the tech space, most of us have to compete in a global space. Right, so you need to scale quickly, you need to compete with companies from other markets that in many cases have a lot more access to funding, and you cannot allow yourself to have the time to grow organically and be profitable first and then grow as you go. You need the investment in order to be successful in a global market, and that's the biggest challenge I'd say companies like us face at this stage. And of course, in that regard, having an environment where you can talk to investors, meet investors that are interested is as MasterCard would say, priceless, right? There's another thing events like this help me with that I welcome very much, and it's to refine my pitch, and that then it helps me because it comes back to the company, right? To help us think about how do we position what we sell, which in many cases, and again, I think it happens for most of us, is a technical thing that is not easy to explain. And if we know the product a lot, we tend to be bogged down by the details of all the things that we do amazingly well. And sometimes you just need to come, step up and put it in a sentence that tells what's the value that you bring. So having events like this always helps me, revise how we pitch things and how we talk to people. And I think that's very helpful for the business in general, even if we don't get any additional investment, which we hope we will. There are a lot of pieces of advice I could give to CEOs starting up a technical company. But I guess I need to keep it short. So if I had to focus on two things, let me focus on two things. I don't know if it's real wisdom, because I'm sure they've heard it before, but I guess one of them is not going into it thinking it's easy, and again, it's a quick shot, and especially when you're in an environment, if you're in an industry in which there are a lot of exits, a lot of people are buying companies left and right, and this, there are a lot of people that may be attracted just because maybe I'll become a millionaire. I tend to think that if you go on to that with that mentality, chances are you're going to be disappointed, and And you need to be very realistic when you go into it about the fact that it's going to be tough and it's going to be hard, and there are going to be a lot of bad days and a lot of frustration. Of course, it's all compensated in the end, whether it works or not, because you have a lot of fun and you need to keep having fun. That's why I think you need to go into a space that you're passionate about. Because if not, if it's tough and on top of it you're bored with the space, it's not gonna happen. And then the second one would be, I think, to try and how do I put this? Be reactive to the market and what you hear in the market, and move fast. And when you start a business, if you're doing it right, you probably have a business plan, right? And you say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is who I'm going to target, and this is how I'm going to do it, and it looks great in the PowerPoint. And more often than not, when you go into the market, things are going to change, right? And if you decide to, oh, no, I'm going to stick to my plan because this is what I said I was going to do, again, that's probably not going to work. So you need to be always very reactive. The opportunities will change. You will need to definitely adapt, sometimes completely, pivot and decide to do something else. But that sort of dialogue with your market is absolutely key, I think, if you want to be successful.